With this spell that I cast, unforetold riches will rain down upon me, and my enemies far and near will feel my wrath. From the depths of something deep and really scary, the foulest stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years! Now all that's left is a drop of human blood. Billy! Oh, man! Oh, well. I was almost there, too. What the heck. You know, October happens to be my favorite month of the year. There's just something about that crisp fall air, the change of the seasons, and not to mention Halloween. It's a time where you need to look very carefully because there's a goblin behind that tree, or who knows what else lurks about. It's my favorite time of year, so this week we're just gonna have some fun. I'm gonna show how and why we producers can benefit from a good old-fashioned scare. All right, Billy, you can hit those lights. We can do a better background than that, can't we? Come on, it's our Halloween episode. Much better. Horror is an ancient art form as old as storytelling itself. Throughout history, man has told stories to either shake up our imaginations or keep us from sleeping at night. From ancient folklore to urban myths, audiences never get tired of a good old scare. Why? Well, I'm not sure. Some people think that maybe we get a certain rush from that adrenaline that is caused when you're scared. And other people think that horror films actually serve a more moral purpose, reinforcing rules and taboos in our society. Me? Well, I like the horror genre because feedback can be immediate. Kind of like comedy, if something is funny and someone laughs out loud, well, then you know that the gimmick worked. With drama or even action, someone could sit through an entire production and not mumble a word, and you'll never know if they loved it or if they hated it. With horror, the gimmick works when someone like my mom, for instance, screams louder than the movie itself when startled by a scary scene. And in the process, she ends up scaring the bejesus out of everyone else in the room. You see there? Horror. Good family fun. All right, well, we can't do a horror themed show without showing how to make a couple key ingredients to any horror film. That's blood and fog. And fortunately for us, they're cheap and easy to make. Now, there's a lot of different ingredients out there for making fake stage blood. You've got recipes for blood that'll splatter all over the place and recipes for blood that's really thick and really dark. Me, I like the old corn syrup recipe because it looks pretty realistic and it's easy to make. What do? Well, get yourself a bottle of white corn syrup and some red food coloring, and you'll just want to kind of mix these in a small bowl of your choice. I'm not going to use the whole bottle right now, just for our purposes. I'm going to slowly start mixing this to show you some consistency here. Add a little bit of red food coloring, and also to give it a different consistency, you can use some liquid dishwashing detergent, or if you want to make it edible, use condensed milk. If you're using condensed milk, you're probably going to want to add a little bit of blue food coloring to this to give it a more darker color. Now, if you make it too thick, you can always go ahead and pour in a little bit of water also to help with the consistency. What you would do is get all your ingredients poured into a bowl, and you would just start mixing and mixing and mixing until you get the consistency that you like. And it roughly looks something like, that. Pretty realistic, huh? No one's going to be able to tell the difference between that and the real McCoy. All right, so there's blood. Let's get this out of the way and show a recipe for fog. Okay, for this next recipe, you're going to want to get yourself some protective clothing or a glove. Get yourself a container full of water, the warmer the better for this, and a chunk of dry ice, and simply put it into the water, and it begins to smolder, like so. There you go. Fog all over the place. The problem with this, in my opinion, is that it wants to billow out over the container and float down to the ground because it's fairly heavy gas at this point. So either get your containers high or find some other way to disperse this. One could, I guess, get himself an old ice chest, cut a hole in it, fill it with some copper tubing, and then regulate the temperature of the gas to make it either rise or stay low to the ground. But I'm told that's an episode for another show. Well, there you go, dry ice. Now, up until recently, I thought this was probably the most effective and cheap method to create yourself some smoke, until I ran across this at my local home mega store. This is a fog machine, of course. We've probably all seen these. But up until recently, I thought they were way too expensive to rent. But I found this for 17 bucks. 17 bucks. You can also pick yourself up for about 8 bucks, the fog solution that comes with this. But to be honest with you, it's just water and glycerin, so you can make it for next to nothing. Now with a fog machine like this, well, I can create enough smoke with this bad boy to fill this room where I wouldn't be able to find Billy for 2 weeks. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I'm not sure how much of this we can apply to our day-to-day productions, but I think we can benefit a little more than we think by some of the techniques that are used in horror films. Now, one of the reasons I really like this genre is that horror films could be done on the cheap. In fact, in my opinion, the less money someone had to make one is far better than throwing a Hollywood-sized budget at one. I just think a film has a certain charm when the producer and the director have to get clever and resourceful to pull off some shots. Like some of these out of Evil Dead, where Sam Raimi had to strap his camera to a 2x4 and then run it through the forest to simulate this monster or this entity trampling its way through. Now, a lot of your classics like Night of the Living Dead and Friday the 13th and Halloween all had pretty small budgets. But if you look at the careful planning and the framing and the blocking by the directors and directors of films like these, well, you can pick up on some pretty clever techniques. One technique that's often used is the frighten, relax, and scare technique, where you set up the scene for our unsuspecting victim and then frighten your audience with a loud crash of sorts, then reveal that it's, well, something innocent, like a cat. Your audience and your on-screen vixen let out a sigh of relief. Let's hold it right there, because then this technique usually works best when you follow it up with a knife-wielding maniac in a mask, or like so. All right, we need to keep this PG, so we'll end this clip now. Well, it's not always about that startling moment where you scare your audience with something shocking, but the suspense you can build by revealing stuff in the scene. John Carpenter uses creative framing throughout Halloween to put the audience on the edge, giving us glimpses of Michael Myers, but making us wonder when he's going to deliver his deathly blow to our innocent scream queens. Creative framing and blocking add to this suspense and leaves the viewer chomping their nails. We know the killer is there when he reveals it behind her.
When did they leave? About a half hour ago.
Then he disappears. Where is he? What's he gonna do? It gets even better in this really cool shot where he uses lighting and positioning of his characters to slowly reveal our bad guy to an unsuspecting Jamie Lee Curtis. Ah, perfect. It's like I said, you may not use this in your day-to-day productions, but just making use of some strategic blocking and some creative framing might just get you out of a jam. All right, well, one of the most important jobs in any horror film is that of the makeup artist. It's the role of the makeup artist is... What the heck? I must have popped a breaker or something. What's going on? Oh, I guess go check that out. Ah. Supposed to get anything done. Popping breakers here all the time. This flashlight. Wonderful. Hello? Hey, is anyone in here? I gotta go behind the green wall and turn that breaker back on. This place is a little creepy in the dark, isn't it? All right, looks like our emergency light's working back there. That's good. Oh, hey, there's Larry. Looks like I must have left the smoke machine going too. Interesting. All right, let's get back here. No easy chore. My goodness. So look at that. Whew. Boy, that smoke machine is just working overtime. I'll be dang. All right, see if we can get our way back to the breaker box. There we go. Creepy back here. Excellent. All right, let's gotta be one of these babies. Let's see here. Is that one? No? Oh, come on. It's gotta be one of these babies. Got them labeled. Doesn't seem to be working too well here. What the heck? Let's see here. Gosh dang it, why is that not working? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Hey, there we go. Wonderful. All right, let's get back to work now. Oh, gracious man almighty. Oh, gosh. Gosh, Billy. You scared the bejesus out of me, man. Whew.
Let's recap, shall we?
Okay, first we need to set up our scene with an unsuspecting blackout. Sound effect is key here. Then we introduce our hammer-wielding predator as our victim unknowingly ventures into the dark room. Shots from the victim's POV are key in adding suspense, as you never really know what could pop out at any time. Getting your victim in a place where it's kind of cramped and spooky always helps. Then, of course, blocking the frame with the door panel allows us to use the predator's POV as he sneaks up on our victim. You hit the lights, reveal nothing there, let our audience relax, then hit him with a scary hammer shot with startling music and sound effects. Well, there you go. So whether you choose blood and gore or the psychological route, horror-inspired productions are just a cool way to blend creative camera work with sound effects and with music. And who knows, maybe with a little practice, well, maybe you'll be making the next nightmare that haunts us in our sleep. Well, that's about it for this week. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck. You okay, Billy?